Alright everybody, and welcome to the quarterfinals of the Fragbite THOR Open Qualifier number 6. And we have a very exciting matchup in the quarterfinals. We have Pulse taking on Fnatic. The winner of this match takes on Team 0 in the semifinals of this tournament. This is still best of 1. The semis and the finals are both best of 3s. Fnatic has been entering this qualifier for a number of times. They've always gotten very, very far, but unfortunately for them, they have always been thwarted by other teams. But we'll see if today is their lucky day. Can they make it through, or will they get once again stopped? As Pulse gonna ban out the Bounty Hunter, Fnatic gonna ban out the Undying. We'll see if Fnatic decides to ban out the Wisp. One of Pulse's trademark heroes, Mini's Wisp, is a whole different beast altogether. Really something to be feared. Meanwhile, Pulse, they're going to ban out the Magnetar as well, so that means that there are very powerful heroes still left in the pool. Barret is still left in the pool, Darkseer is still left in the pool, Rubik's still left in the pool. It's going to be interesting to see how these teams decide to approach it. Will they just let all these heroes go, or will they just snatch them up as soon as possible? As Fnatic really has to make a tough decision. TA is still in the pool as well, Templar Assassin, I forgot. And Fnatic, they're going to have to guess what Pulse will try to pick up. Will they ban the Barotter, which usually is the situational ban in this case? I haven't seen Barotter at all this tournament. But keep in mind, with all these heroes still left in the pool, even if Pulse picks up a really strong one, Fnatic can pick up 2 extremely powerful heroes very early on in exchange. So Pulse, they went with the risky opening ban strategy, but we'll see if it works out for them. As we're waiting on Fnatic to make their final ban, they know that they are going to ban out Mini's Wisp, so Pulse unfortunately not going to have that Wisp to play around with it. They love to use that Wisp and just love ganking around the map, play very aggressively, and Pulse decides to pick up the Barotter instead. Fnatic, who's still left in the pool? Well, Darkseer is still left in the pool, TA is still left in the pool, but since Barotter is on the opposing team, it might not be the smartest decision to pick up TA. Barotter fares quite well against TA. And Darkseer going to be the first pickup, most likely going to be landing in the offlane position. So we'll see how Pulse decides to approach their safe lane. Will they pick up some lockdown disablers to really shut down the Darkseer in the early laning stage? Or are they going to just pick up some melee heroes and just screw it, we're going to let Darkseer get his farm, but we're just going to overpower him later on. Usually the correct response, or the more favored response, is to pick up a couple of disablers to really shut down Darkseer, but Fnatic going with 2 very powerful heroes in the forms of Darkseer Rubik. Pretty versatile. Rubik could solo mid, but most likely will be supporting the lane, so Fnatic still has a lot of their lane decisions still left open. Meanwhile, it'll be interesting to see how Pulse decides to use their Barotter. Will they put him in the jungle? Will they put him in the off lane? Will they put him in the mid lane? Barotter is so very versatile on how he can lane. So Pulse, these next couple picks will help determine some of the lane setup at the very least. But we won't know for sure where Barotter will lane until all the picks are through.
Reserve time.
Pulse going into a little bit of their reserve time. They're going to pick up TA themselves. So most likely going to see Templar Assassin in the mid lane. Templar Assassin, of course, a very strong laner, very strong mid-game presence, one of Waga's personal favorites. And they pick up the Twin-Head Dragon. Usually we don't see all 3 of these heroes on the same team. They're usually banned or first picked. But all 3 of these heroes on the same team, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this shapes up. Because these are all very powerful top-tier heroes, constantly picked and banned. They are tier 1. They are at the top of the food chain. And how will Fnatic respond to this? Because now it's starting to become a bit more clear how Pulse will decide to lane this. Jakiro will be supporting the safe lane. Templar Assassin will most likely be in the mid lane position. Barrett could still potentially jungle, he could still potentially off lane. And if they really want to, they could put Barrett in the mid lane, but and put TA in the safe lane, but they're probably not going to do that. Meanwhile, Fnatic, they're going to have to commit to a pick right now to see... but this pick will definitely give away some of their strategy, and they decide to pick up the Chaos Knight. It'll be interesting to see how they run this pick as well. Chaos Knight and Notorious were running dual lane mids with another hero, but we'll most likely be farming on the safe lane just to get as much farm as possible and go in there.
Dire team
As
back.
Pulse starting to ban out supports to seal up the Shrine, banning out the Disruptor. Pretty powerful support. Glimpse you never really want to be. Glimpse back when you're blinking on somebody with a Batrider or when you're initiating on somebody with a Templar Assassin. So Disruptor, a pretty solid ban in this situation. Meanwhile, Fnatic starting to ban out some safe lane carries, banning out Sven. Maybe we're going to see other carry bans like Anti-Mage or a Naga Siren or something like that. Although Naga Siren has really dropped off in terms of popularity. So, looks like these teams have a clear idea on who they want to ban. They're definitely banning out supports for Pulse and carries for Fnatic at this point. But there's still some pretty strong teamfight heroes still left in the pool. Enigma still left in the pool, Tidehunter is still left in the pool, Panda, Brewmaster is still left in the pool. So, we'll see if these teams decide to approach one of those heroes. One of the problems with those heroes is that the ultimate cooldowns are so very long that frequent teamfight heroes such as Batrider TA can definitely take advantage of the gap between ultimates and try to pick up an advantage through that means.
Remaining.
Meanwhile, Fnatic taking a bit of time to go through their second ban in the second round of phases. Going to a bit of the reserve time, they do decide to ban out Tidehunter, so
Radiant team back.
getting rid of some of the potential teamfight. Also, Tidehunter, pretty solid offlaner and could potentially help out the safe lane with Gush. So maybe they're trying to remove some of the offlane, but I think Batrider in this situation will be in the offlane. Enigma is going to be the last ban by Pulse. A support who can farm up in the jungle of the safe lane. Or not really support, more of a semi-carry. And of course that teamfight Black Hole definitely does not want to be underestimated. And Fnatic going to ban out the Tiny. Banning out probably the strongest carries right now, Tiny and Sven. But the great thing about this patch is that the carry pool is so very versatile that it's really, really hard to say what carry a team will like to pick up. Meanwhile, Pulse taking a bit of time. They still have a lot of reserve time, so they can think about this a little longer. Maybe they're thinking about picking Tiny, but unfortunately it's bad for them.
5
So
seconds remaining.
they're gonna decide a little bit longer. Will they pick up the remaining hero in their safe lane? Or will they pick up maybe a more traditional offlaner and put Batrider in jungle? Right now, Pulse's picks are pretty versatile. They do have to get their safe lane farmer. But other than that, they can pretty much go with whatever they want. Fnatic, on the other hand, even then, they have a lot of versatility as well. Chaos Knight can be laned in a bunch of different ways. Dual lane mid, safe lane top, supported by a tri-lane. Rubik could be a support in the tri-lane, could be solo mid. Darkseer could even jungle or solo mid. Darkseer very versatile in how he lanes. Most likely will be in the off lane. But still, these picks are so very versatile that it's kind of difficult to predict where each hero is going. Meanwhile, Pulse taking a lot of time, running out of reserve time at this point. They really have to make up their minds pretty soon.
10 seconds.
They probably know which two heroes they want to pick up, but they're really discussing what Fnatic might counterpick. They decide to pick up the Chen, so they're going to pick up their jungler. So Batrider is definitely going to be in the off lane. Jakiro and Chen will be supporting the safe lane. And so Pulse really has a lot of options on who they want to carry, but their last pick will be a safe lane farmer to carry up the game. Templar Assassin will be in the mid lane. And I wonder how Fnatic will decide to lane against a TA right now. Rubik does lose quite hard to TA mid if he does go there. Darkseer does pretty well against TA mid until TA picks up a couple points in that side blade. Then Darkseer has a bit more of a difficult time. But
5 seconds remaining.
we'll see. Darkseer will probably be in the offlane position, but Fnatic has not really picked up a dedicated solo mid.
Reserve time.
And TA against a Chaos Knight Rubik dual lane mid could do pretty well. So they decide to go with Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain, a pretty solid hero to lane against Templar Assassin, probably one of the best mid heroes in the game. The problem with Queen of Pain is that she does take quite a lot of farm, takes a decent amount of time to get going. And really, if she doesn't get off to a good start, then she'll be in a lot of trouble. And Night Stalker is going to be picked up by Pulse. So Pulse going with a very, very aggressive lineup, going for extremely gank-oriented, try to win the early game. And will they put Night Stalker in the safe lane, or will they put him as a farmer in the mid lane? They could put TA in the safe lane, but I think TA will be in the mid lane in this situation. Night Stalker will just be farming the safe lane. At least that's my guess. Night Stalker, a very, very aggressive pick, but does not carry nearly as well as any other hero in the game. Or most heroes in the game, who are more of a traditional carry. So we'll see if Night Stalker goes for a bit more of a late game build, or if he just continues to trademark mid-game dominance build that we see so often by teams like IG and a lot of teams these days. Meanwhile, Fnatic, probably a bit puzzled. That silence of Night Stalker can shut down Darkseer or Queen of Pain until they get something to remove it, either BKB or Linken's or anything like that, but Night Stalker does throw a bit of a wrench in the plans of Fnatic. If Darkseer silenced, then it might be very difficult to escape heroes like Baron and Templar Assassin. And the good thing about Pulse's lineup is that they're all extremely good at pushing. Jakiro's Ice Path range is so very good that it locks people in place. Chen picks up something like a Troll Creep, could lock people in place. Batrider and TA, probably two of the best chases in the game. And Vengeful Spirit is going to be the last pickup by Fnatic RC. And this is going to be a really, really interesting game to watch. As Vengeful Spirit, not picked too often these days as traditional support, but definitely has potential. Swap can definitely help win a team fight, but can also help a teammate get out of trouble. But I think they might have picked her up because she scales a bit more towards the late game, and Fnatic probably wants to go a bit more late game. And she does have that stun and swap that can really throw a monkey wrench into the plans of Pulse. And of course, Howl of Terror and the Vengeance Sword does scale quite well in towards the late game.
10 seconds remaining.
So, Pulse and Fnatic going to pick up their heroes. We'll introduce the players and teams on the side of the Radiant. Pulse region is going to be playing that Batrider, going to be in the off-lane position. Looks like Waga is going to be playing the Night Stalker, Jolo is going to be playing the Templar Assassin, Fishbone is going to be playing the Jakiro, and Minnie's going to be playing the Chen. Meanwhile, on Fnatic, we have JK, which I think is Hani, playing the Queen of Pain. No Tail is going to be playing the Rubik. Era is going to be playing the Chaos Knight. Trixie is going to be playing the Darkseer, and Fly is going to be playing the Vengeful Spirit. And the fact that Waga is playing the Night Stalker means that he will be a safe lane farmer. He's going to try to get as much farm as possible. He won't get as much experience if he was in the mid lane, and Night Stalker does need a good amount of levels, but he'll have more items when he decides to go out and gank in the first night. And with this safe lane Night Stalker, you're really focusing on the second night, where you have all of your farm and all of your items fully up, and then you try to win the game right there. It's not really so much focus on the first night, where you're a mid lane Night Stalker. So both teams positioning themselves. No wards have been placed just yet, as there is going to be a Rubik Venge, Chaos Knight tri-lane, going to be a Queen of Pain mid, and a Darkseer bottom for Fnatic. Pretty standard lanes in the lane setup. Rubik will most likely help roam, or Vengeful Spirit will most likely help roam. They do have an early smoker to see, and they have some sentry wards as well to scout out any observer wards being placed by the Batrider on that top lane. But Batrider just picked up some boots, picked up a salve. 450 gold for the boots, so very useful these days, as Fnatic Era not in position. I don't think they'd be able to kill the Batrider anyway, but Era does pick up a double damage rune. A very, very offensive observer ward being placed, scanning out Batrider's movement all of the time. And it'll be interesting to see how Region gets any experience in this lane, because very, very aggressive stun heavy lane on the side of Fnatic. And looks like Fnatic gonna roll around. They do have a smoke to see. No wards have been placed by the Pulse side in order to scout this movement out. Queen of Pain gonna be matched up against TA. TA already using their refraction charge. Gonna use that liberally, try to pick up the fast bottle. Has 3 Ironwood branches, gonna try to go for the bottle as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Hani does have the blink, no Shadow Strike just yet, but here comes the gank onto the Templar Assassin, and only level 1 Queen of Pain, but will that be enough? They unfortunately don't have enough damage to get through that Templar Assassin refraction and kill her off. So a little bit of a misgank, but they didn't use anything like a smoke to see, just used some mana and used a little bit of HP, but they'll be just fine. It's helping out the lane. Meanwhile, that does give Region a chance to get some experience. But now that the migration of the Dire Heroes are going back towards the top lane, Region is going to be SOL. Bottom lane, we do see Waga farming it up. Fishbone taking a lot of experience as well. Waga missed that last hit, but Fishbone definitely wants to get some experience. Wants to get a couple points of Liquid Fire, get that dual breath to get his nuke going. Trixie, on the other hand, is not in too much danger in this lane. Night Stalker doesn't really get going until you get to that nighttime, and the creep equilibrium is not being controlled that well at all, so maybe they want to put on a little bit of early pressure. Maybe Fishbone will dive past the tower a bit and go with that ice path, but the creep equilibrium is pushed all the way to the Darkseer tower, most likely because Ion Shell pushed it so hard towards this tower that the creeps eventually came to here and then here. So Trixie going to pick up a lot of experience, going to go for that Soul Ring, get that Ion Shell spam going, get it a lot of farm, get a lot of experience that way, and try to cement himself in this lane. But Night Stalker can tank these Ion Shells, unlike a lot of carries these days, who definitely cannot be matched up against that Ion Shell too often. Meanwhile, Regen has hit level 2, so he's got a stack of sticky napalm. Can use that to get sight of a specific area. Because the cooldown is so low, you can definitely spam it to the best of his ability. Templar Assassin has picked up the ball and has another 500 gold in the bank. Shadow Strike is going to drain the refraction charges, but it's not going to drain them too fast, so some of the physical harassment techniques of the Queen of Pain will be thwarted because of the slow damage ticks of Shadow Strike. But eventually, the Shadow Strike will go right through that refraction. And here comes another gank. Here comes the Telekinesis Central being played to prevent Jolo from escaping, but again, not enough damage to break through all of that refraction, and Hani is going to go for the dive. Can he get the kill? Refraction should be up. Hani going very, very deep, but he is going to pay for it with his life. Hani going a little bit too aggressively, and Jolo definitely took advantage of that, and now he's just going to send the courier back, going to get a full bottle, and that aggression by Hani definitely cost him in this lane quite severely, because now Templar Assassin is going to hit level 6 quite soon. And that's going to force his Vengeful Spirit to stick in the lane, otherwise Hani is just going to get completely outmanned and outgunned in this middle lane. Smart move by the Templar Assassin just to meld, not even approaching for a last hit until she gets that bottle back, which has been upgraded to a flying cur. And we see Mini just farming up in the jungle, trademark of Chen these days, just to farm up. And then try pushing when you get that level 5 or level 6, so you have at least the 2 creeps and possibly the heal. And keep in mind, it's not like Pulse really wants to go on the offensive. Night Stalker is level 4, so he's getting more experience than he would in a normal tri lane. And meanwhile, Batrider is going to get initiated, and here comes the stun and the Reality Rift. But Batrider is going to fly on the opposite direction, trying to go for Era. Can he kill Era? Firefly doing a lot of damage. Flame Break pushing Era back with the Magic Stick. Might be enough to save Era. That strength growth by Batrider too good at this point. And the Firefly continuously burning, but Era does manage to escape. Going to salve up in the meantime. But they definitely took a lot of damage from that engagement. Meanwhile, Templar Assassin continuing to farm on the middle lane. Chen out farming everybody in the game because, you know, he's been by himself in that jungle with his animal friends. He is the modern day Dr. Doolittle. As Regen has hit level 4. Meanwhile, Chaos Knight level 5, so Regen's doing quite well. I think at this stage, it's safe to say Pulse has a pretty strong advantage. And Darkseer migrated towards the jungle. Not too sure. I thought he was doing quite well on that bottom lane, but maybe he's fearing the presence of the Chen. Maybe he definitely didn't want to stay around when his wards expired. Maybe he didn't even have wards in there in the beginning. But now Waga's going to get absolutely uncontested free farm. And again, with the farming Night Stalker, it's really a lot about the focus on the second night. But since Waga's getting a lot of solo experience and he's getting a lot of free farm, the first night will be quite dangerous for the side of Fnatic. But keep in mind, Fnatic do have the better late game, so we'll see if they can get the turtling up. As Batrider continuously stealing and getting those stacks up, gonna use that Flame Break to try to snipe a creep once or twice, as the Telekinesis enough to push Batrider to the high ground, but the stun and the Reality Rift a little bit too slow. Batrider's gonna easily escape and gonna be very content just to farm some creeps with the Firefly. So Fnatic looks like they're a little bit scrambled and it has just hit first night, so I'm going to be interested to see how Waga decides to approach this. Will he continually farm, or will he just go for the ganking spree?
Haste.
Co-op has picked up a Haste Rune, has picked up a Null Talisman, not yet picked up Boots. TA on the other hand has finished the phase, so it's going to probably start saving up for that Blink Dagger. Regen probably starting to save up for the Blink Dagger as well as soon as he finishes those Tranquil Boots. Regen not getting the best farm, but he has been able to get some experience, so that's pretty solid for him. No, Wagga looks like he's continuously farming on that bottom lane. He's picked up a TP scroll, so if Region's in a bit of trouble or if Jolo's in a bit of trouble, he'll teleport in and try to get a couple of counter gank kills. But Pulse very content just farming up at this point. And Fishbone's picked up a second point in Liquid Fire, get that increased proc on the tower, a lower cooldown, and now with the double Wildkin's gonna give nice armor. Of course, the armor bonuses do not stack, but it's pretty solid nonetheless. And now they're gonna push down the middle tower because Chen is level 6, has those 2 creeps, and is gonna be very content to take this tower. Liquid Fire is going to be in effect for the next attack, and that's going to slow down the tower attack speed, going to increase the creep wave damage, but there might be engagement on the top lane, as it looks like Chaos Knight took a bunch of damage. Barrett is still at full HP. Do they want to go back on the offensive? Flame Break going to be enough to spread out every hero on the map, but the Firefly duration is going to be cooling down, and Region went a little bit too aggressive, as he is going to pay the price for his insolence. But meanwhile, Pulse is going to be very happy to push down a second tower, and there's not really too much a level 4 Darkseer can do to stop them. And I'm really puzzled by Darkseer's decision to completely abandon the lane. I thought he was doing okay, but I guess Pulse did a better job controlling the creep equilibrium than I initially expected. And that's going to be another tower for the Radiant. A bit more gold into the pocket of everybody. Going to definitely help out Region. Has hit level 6, but Flaming Lasso is on cooldown. They really want to farm with this Chaos Knight, but Chaos Knight only 32 CS, not really comparable to the Templar Assassin or the Night Stalker's farm at this stage in the game. And Chaos Knight, he really wants to get a good early start going, or he doesn't want to die. And right now he's not dying, but he's not really getting the best early start going, because Chaos Knight, unfortunately, if he doesn't have a really good time, his success rate has not been the highest. Meanwhile, Migration by Wagga has picked up the Treads, has picked up the Ring of Health. We'll see if he goes for Hood, or if he goes for something like a Vanguard, but the Die Wards did scout the movement of Wagga. But even though they see him, what can they do to stop this Chen push? He still has Hand of God. No, he actually hasn't even hit level 6, so he doesn't have Hand of God, my bad. But Liquid Fire will be coming in to reduce the damage output of that tower by a significant amount. Glyph is on cooldown, and that tornado constantly damaging the creep wave and pushing everybody on the Fnatic back. That tornado is so very annoying. Meanwhile, Barrett does get a solo kill on the Vengeful Spirit, so Pulse seems to have all the answers. They're really taking advantage of this first night, and Night Stalker's getting a huge amount of farm, so definitely have a lot of items to transition well to the mid game. And he's just going to go back to farming. We'll see if he finishes a Vanguard. Just going to pick up the Ring of Health just for the heck of it. But it looks like Fnatic want to get some sort of momentum back on their side, because 3 towers have been taken, and really the towers on Pulse have not been touched at all. But it looks like Pulse is going to just rotate to take the top tower. Very, very low HP, so they could teleport back and defend this middle tower because this tower is so very low in terms of HP. And that is indeed what we see Fishbone doing. As Jakiro did manage to get the last hit on that tower, TA's picked up a 10-minute dagger. Man, Fnatic just getting completely worked in terms of tower count, and they're going to be able to defend this tower. Pulses. Wagga's going to teleport in as well. He's going to probably be able to finish his Vanguard once the courier is done delivering that item, that dagger, towards the Templar Assassin. But Mini and Batrad are caught in an awkward position. There are 4 heroes smoked up on side Fnatic. Can they initiate? Looks like No Tail a bit too slow as Batrad does dive in. He did not suspect that there were 3 heroes there. Here comes the Hand of God, but unfortunately too much damage. And now Mini's going to have to get the heck out of there. But here comes Templar Assassin, going to go back in for No Tail. Central being placed, but the sun's going to come in. Here comes Jolo. Can he pick up any more kills as he does have the dagger? The slow trap does go on. Nice ice path by Fishbone. 2 kills from one, and Batrad are bought back. And now Fnatic are in full retreat. A clever idea to smoke gank up, but the reinforcements and the chasing powers of Pulse allow them to maneuver back into position very, very quickly. And since Batrad are bought back, they have a Flame Lasso to fear, and here comes the ice path as Wagga's going to dive in very aggressively, easily take the life of No Tail. And Fnatic are looking looking in a lot of trouble at this point. And that's going to be another tower, so they're going to have 5 towers to 0 towers at this stage in the game. That's going to give them immense gold advantage. You can see it hasn't even fully ticked in. But I expect Fnatic or Pulse to have soon around a 10k gold advantage from those 5 towers. And it is not looking good if you're a Fnatic fan. And just look at the levels, man. Darkseer just hit level 6, Rubik level 5, Ventress at level 4. There's going to be engaging, and they're going to kill Trixie as Batrider does manage to get the kill with the help of Templar Assassin. Jolo is on a killing spree, and Rhysand's going to have that Blink Dagger up very, very soon. Even if he is only level 8, he's still doing a solid job. That tower gold definitely helping him out. Chan going to convert another creep, and this middle tier 2 tower is going to take the fall. So rather than going aggressively ganking with this Night Stalker, they're just going to go for a huge timing attack and just take down 6 towers in the first night. Give themselves a huge boost to gold. And they don't even have to really wait for the second night. They can just try to go in, use their huge gold and item advantage to their advantage, and try to win the game. But we'll see how Pulse decides to go with this, because right now they're definitely in full cruise control, and now you can see the gold graph approaching that 10k mark. Experience graph approaching 5k or over 5k at this stage in the game. Definitely not something to be taken lightly. At the very least, Fnatic, they're trying to get a bomb tier 1 tower, but considering how much gold Pulse has, they could try to defend it. As Waltz is going to, or Waga's going to teleport in, but unfortunately it is daytime. Waga going to take a bunch of damage. Here comes the Hand of God. Can Waga escape as Jolo is going to try to get away? Waga is going to take a bit of residual damage from that Shadow Strike, but he is going to escape Flame Break, and the Silence going to push back Hani. Hani takes the fall. And I wonder if Waga just hit level 9 and got that point of darkness, or he had it the whole time, was just baiting like a boss. And Hani calls an immediate GG. Again, Pulse steamrolling their opponents in around 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes. And Fnatic just got completely outplayed. I don't know if they got outpicked, but they just got completely outplayed. Pulse showing why they're such a strong team at this stage in the game. And Fnatic, or the Fnatic European squad, once again gonna be sent home to try another time in the Fragbite THOR Open Qualifier. And Pulse gonna have to face a very, very tough opponent in Team 0 in the next round. But a ridiculously one-sided affair in this game. Huge gold and experience advantage. I think Fnatic could have tried to hold on, but their experience might not let them. They have pretty strong turtling heroes, but not really the best either. But I guess they just weren't ready for this game.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But yeah, that's going to be the end of this game, so we're going to move on to the semifinals finally. As Trixie farming up the creeps, not willing to leave the game just yet. And Fnatic clearly, definitely. We're not ready for this game. That's what it seems like. And they're gonna pay for it with the loss, as the last member from Fnatic does finally disconnect. So that's gonna be the end of this cast. We'll finally move on to the semifinals. Hopefully we'll have some more even matches in store for you. But I'm B-Ball, B-Ball773 on YouTube and on Twitch. Please follow me on both places if you want to watch more videos. But thanks for watching, and the semifinals should be starting soon if you are watching on the stream, so stay tuned, and I'll see you guys shortly.